Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. I wrote this while high as fuck and ended up getting really sidetracked. I got real invested into writing my thoughts and eventually saw two things to write about. I expanded on these two things and it got way too cluttered, so I separated them and drew them out independently. This was all after rewatching What If and changing my mind completely on it, so now I'm left with this fucking garbage. I really don't know what to do with it, but it feels like a waste to just discard it, so fuck it. I'm just gonna read it into microphone. What If honestly had a real rocky start with me. The Penny episode was underwhelming and left me wanting more. The episode that followed just felt uninspired and boring. Out of all the possible outcomes, these just didn't seem very interesting to present. Like, if you're gonna show me an alternate reality, it better be some crazy, wacky shit. Like, I wanna see people doing shit that I would never expect people to do, and people win that I'd never expect to win. And just like, fucking wacky, absurd scenarios. The realities were just not very cool. Like, whoa, the Avengers were killed by that Hank Pym guy? Wow, that's crazy. Like, whoa, Penny became Captain America? I'm impressed. I honestly skipped the T'Challa one because it just kind of sounded stupid. Like, I wasn't very interested. Regardless, I just kind of got the vibe that the show was mediocre. This all changed after I watched a Doctor Strange episode, though. That episode was cool as fuck. Yeah, the Doctor Strange episode was fucking awesome. Like, I watched that shit and I was like, god damn. I'm really excited about this, and I'm really happy they took it there. Like, at first, I didn't know if it was going to be all that great because it just seemed like, oh, whatever, just going to follow the same premise. But no, they go after the finale of Doctor Strange. Everything goes normally all through that until the end, where, like, I don't want to fucking ruin it. Like, it's just very good. It was just honestly fantastic, and it got me reinvested in the show. I wrote a lot about it and how much I loved it, but I honestly couldn't do it justice in this garbage pile of a video. So just watch that shit. It's fucking amazing. Like, please. Needless to say, this episode got me real excited for the show. I was thinking, shit, I need to give this show another fucking shot. Like, it was starting to get cool. I heard, whoa, they're making a zombie story? This got me pretty fucking hyped because Marvel Zombie was like one of the few comic books that I've ever read. I'm not really a comic guy, but that shit got me hooked. I got home that day and I was ready to watch this episode. This was as ready as I've ever been and as I'll ever be. I will never be as ready as I was in that moment. I get home, I smoke a little bit, I get my cereal bowl ready, and I find myself incredibly disappointed mere minutes afterwards after I started this episode. To be honest with you, I'm kind of being a bitch about it. Like, I'm sure the episode was fine. Like, I'm sure, whatever, it was cool. I just don't like how they didn't, like, approach the plot like they did in Marvel Zombies. Like, obviously, I'm not one to care about comic accuracy. I'm not a fucking nerd. Like, no offense to you. Like, that's cool. Do your thing. But it's just, like, the zombies being the main characters is far more interesting, in my opinion. And also, Existential Spider-Man was the greatest. This episode, just, like, I was kind of like, yeah, no, I need a break from this show. I take a little break from the show after this. I'm like, damn, I'm not really, like, I thought it was going to be cool, but I didn't really enjoy that episode as much as I was hoping I would. But obviously, I fucking succumb because, like, believe it or not, this video is actually about an episode in this stupid show. And would you believe it or not, when I came back to this show, I was high as fuck eating Cheerios on my bed. I'm watching the Killmonger one because I'm bored and think it's stupid at first, but the episode continues and I'm, like, hooked. Like, seeing Killmonger's slide manipulation is fucking satisfying. The way he orchestrates events flawlessly is impressive. There's not much more to say. It's fucking crazy and awesome, and you should watch it. This is like the only one where I didn't find myself. I could actually write something about that Killmonger episode. Like, goddamn, he was fucking awesome. Good ass episode. Watch it. At this point, I had noticed a pattern with the show's inconsistent quality. I wasn't exactly invested in what If had to offer. I figured I would take a break from it for a bit and finish it when all the episodes are released. I was writing beats once and put some shit in the background, and, like, I usually put on Pixar movies when I write, like, when I produce something. But today I was, like, bored, so I figured I'd put on the not Killmonger, I figured I'd put on the Ultron episode, and I usually smoke when I write beats. So, I'm smoking a bit, like, getting my beat ready, and then I look to the screen, and I'm like, wait, this is kind of interesting. I get out, I get to my bed, and I'm like, whoa, this episode is fucking amazing. Right? Like, Like, I was quite shocked. Like, the Killmonger episode did not prepare me for that. Like, I was like, damn, this is brilliant. Alright, so at this point is like the point where my writing just completely becomes incoherent as like all these ideas that I'm trying to present fall apart. So I'm gonna just, it's kind of shitty, but I'm still gonna rant about it because I think ranting is funny, and I wrote a rant and I feel like reading it. So I don't really give a shit that it's bad. So, but just a warning, it's a mess. And also, it's getting hot as fuck in this room, and I'm not trying to, like, leave that fan off for too long. In all honesty, my appreciation of this show most likely just came from the fact that I was high as fuck the first time I watched it. I'd still like to think that it's overall a phenomenal little delight in the sea of mediocrity that is this show. What a stupid fucking sentence. I'm sorry. Like, high me is a different vibe. Like, the Doctor Strange and Killmonger episodes were cool, and I thought those were wacky and whimsical and great, and I fucking loved those episodes, but Ultron blew them out of the water with how fucking wacky this shit gets. This shit starts off with Black Widow riding a motorcycle in a nuclear wasteland. Hawkeye is shooting down bots with his robotic arm, and you don't have any context. I cannot emphasize how much I love this. This episode just drops you off in an unknown territory and leaves the plot to explain what happened in this universe. Like, Hawkeye is all depressed and suicidal, Natasha's all badass, and it genuinely feels like a different reality. It doesn't feel like this other shit that we've been, like, seeing. Like, maybe I'm just, like, stupid brain, and I'm like, we must be in a completely different universe. Like, it must be completely dystopian for it to be interesting. Otherwise, it's too much like our universe that we are used to. But shit, man. Like, this is so much cooler. Like, okay. Like I said, it genuinely feels different. Like, it feels like a whole different world. And it made me curious to find out what happened. And bam, we find out that Ultron got Vision's body and he became the Posadist Messiah. He gathers his army of dolphins and wages nuclear war against humanity. When I started this episode, I was like, well, damn, where the fuck are we going with this? Because by the 7th minute mark, all the obvious endings, like, had fallen off. Like Captain Marvel couldn't defeat him. Ultron didn't Thanos didn't defeat him. Bro, Ultron gets Vision's body, becomes the Posadist Messiah. He gathers his army of dolphins and wages nuclear war against humanity. Ultron becomes a super intelligent AI with the Vision body and transcends humanity. He declares himself as the next step in evolution and proceeds to destroy all biological life. He fucking does it. He succeeds. Like, he launches all the nukes. Everyone's fucking dead. And this motherfucker visibly experiences an existential crisis before Thanos pulls up with the Infinity Gauntlet. I figured at this point, like, oh shit, it's gonna be about, like, Thanos turning good or some bullshit. No, Thanos doesn't beat him. Ultron sees Thanos, goes, like, fascinating or interesting, and lasers the fucker in half. After this, Ultron proceeds to steal Thanos' ice, because he's doing him dirty right now, and he forges Ultimate Ultron, like this badass being. He basically says that Unity thing, like, I will become what the mortals once called a god. Basically, what I really like about the show is how it really pushes what, like, this franchise can fuck with in the future. Like, it actually gets me excited to see all this wacky shit that they can come up with in the following stories. Like, Loki already made this shit interesting, but Ultron and, you know, the Killmonger episode, the Doctor Strange episode, these really gave me hope for this show and the MCU as a whole. To be completely honest with you, I became pretty uninvested in Marvel after Endgame, and I gotta say, I'm at least a little excited. I mean, hell, I grew up with this franchise, and it's cool to see it evolve. Especially if they're gonna fuck with that wacky shit. It's just really fucking cool. Alright, it's hot as fuck in my room. They released the next episode the next day, and I finished this bullshit garbage, and I gotta say, the show is actually pretty fucking solid. Like, after going back and rewatching the show, I was like, damn, this is actually decent. Like, I don't think it's that stinky anymore. Like, I didn't mention, like, I ended up cutting this out, but, like, I dismissed the Star-Lord and the Thor episodes because, like, I thought their premises were dumb. But after rewatching them, I actually thought they were pretty fucking cool.